The world of Invincible has no shortage of heroes and villains making absolutely ridiculously stupid decisions. I just spit on my table. I am so sorry. We have the Immortal destroying the entire planet instead of just flying off into the sun because he's upset that he can't die. We have Angstrom Levy, who, you know, admittedly at least had his brain screwed up, so now he's going after the one good Mark that we know of instead of all the other ones that caused them problems. Or the Mauler twins biting off more than they can chew every single time. But there's one character that was recently revealed in the newest episode of Invincible, Powerplex, and his wife, who I believe are the dumbest people in the series. Because all the other people I previously just mentioned at least have decent excuses. The Immortal lived way too long. His mind kind of deteriorated, I'm assuming. Angstrom Levy, like I said before, had his brain just completely scrambled because of all the different personalities and memories and everything just going into his one brain. And the Mauler twins are more so just narcissistic. But Powerplex and his wife are very special. They're seemingly ordinary people. We're not given any insight as to whether or not they have any sort of mental illnesses, or if they're mistaken. At first, we're led to believe that Schlatt may have made a mistake. He thinks Invincible killed his niece, because as we see in the beginning, he flies up to the building where his niece is, and then he gets knocked out. Next thing he sees is Mark holding his niece's arm. He assumes that he killed her. But then that is completely shattered when we see that he is working for the government. He is working directly with Cecil and Donald in the same facility. He has access to the footage for the entire fight, what Omni-Man and Mark said to each other. Watching Omni-Man hold Mark in front of a train of people, just splattering him into them. He can see full well that Invincible is trying to save as many as he can. And yet for some reason, he still blames Mark. He still goes after him like he purposely went after these people to try and kill them, as opposed to doing the literal exact opposite. To be honest, it would make more sense if any of these were direct causes of collateral damage. Like if Mark had punched Omni-Man into the building, you know, hurting them. If he had thrown some kind of kick or punch that caused some kind of damage to hurt someone else. But all the instances that we see, it's Mark trying to directly save people from stuff that Omni-Man caused. And Scott is seemingly an intelligent person. He should be able to critically think and put these pieces together. Oh, it wasn't Mark's fault, it's Omni-Man's fault. Yes, this could be making a commentary on how superheroes get away with a lot of collateral damage, but we really aren't shown these instances very well. Outside of, I guess, in this episode with Oliver punching the elephant into a car. And his wife's even worse. For those who know of the Injustice storyline from DC, you know, with evil Superman. Superman arguably isn't even the worst character in there, because Wonder Woman is actually the person in his ear just feeding him the worst possible information and the worst ideas possible. She might even be more evil than him in that storyline. And Powerplex's wife is the Wonder Woman to his Superman. She is just like yapping. Powerplex is like, you know, it might be over. You know, maybe I should hang this up. Nope, his wife's like, no, you gotta do this. You gotta avenge your niece. And you know what that gets him? They pull an incredibly stupid stunt where they pretend to hold his wife and their son hostage in Chicago in the beat up building. So they're already trespassing on a destroyed, abandoned building with tons of hazards. I can't imagine the floor's very stable. Already putting your wife and child at risk just doing that. But now you're gonna try and get Invincible to come there. The guy who you're upset with because he gets away with collateral damage, and try to fight him with your wife and child right there. And the wife's just as stupid for even going along with this. Mark tries to save the wife, and then the wife spits on him. And what did that get them? What did all this get them? Oh, Powerplex tries to go for the kill shot on Invincible, and look what happens. Oh man, he's a hypocrite. Look at that, collateral damage. Oh man, and it was his wife and kid. What a shock. Get it? Shock because his abilities are kind of electric. I know it's just more so energy, but it's visualized as electricity. All right. I mean, that all really is what electricity is, right? It's energy, physics. physics, ladies and gentlemen. I think. I don't know. This whole incredibly well planned out revenge plot ends up with Powerplex being arrested with his entire family dead. And he still blames Invincible even though he's the one who evaporated his wife and child. Now I understand that the incredibly dramatic experience of watching your sister and niece as well as everyone around you completely fall apart, crumble, and die instantly without any warning whatsoever can, maybe might have caused him to have a bit of an extended manic episode. I, for one, know a bunch about that. I'd be a multimillionaire right now if my father wasn't shot 8 times 4 years ago. Had over $500,000 in call options and I just let them expire the week of. And then went on a path of self-destructive behavior for 3 years. I guess you could say I'm just as stupid as Powerplex, to be honest. But you know what? At least mine was more so giving up on life. Whereas Powerplex has all of this hatred buildup and need for revenge, but it's going nowhere. He's directing it at the completely wrong person, someone who was actually trying to help him. He tried to save his family. But let's talk about Powerplex's wife one last time. I think her name's Becky, by the way. You would think if your husband started ranting and raving about trying to take down a superhuman who can flick buildings away like Legos, you would try to talk some sense into him. You know, you as a mother, you still have your son, who's like a baby. Maybe you should be focusing on that. Your husband is basically throwing his life away for the slim chance that he might make Invincible pay for his crimes, which would leave you and your baby alone without a father. If she had just said, no, you're an idiot, or we should handle this another way, they might have still had a life together. But instead, no. She had to just keep cheering him on. Come on, honey, steer into the iceberg. I'm sure it'll move. His obsession made absolutely no sense. His wife both fed and supported his delusions up until her death. And all this accomplished was the hardening of Invincible's heart, making Powerplex lose everything. And his son died for no reason. Jesse Pinkman, Powerplex, and his dumb, stupid wife are the biggest Neanderthal, dummy, stupid brain people in Invincible. They are the worst couple, and I hope we get a scene with every main character outside the cell of Powerplex pointing and laughing at him for being such a dummy. That's the video. Good night. I'm gonna go work out. I love you guys. Check out the rest of my content, and hopefully I'll upload more videos instead of being a lazy POS. I can say curse words. Why did I say POS? I'm so silly.